filthy Bagginses. Nothing but thieves. Nothing but Thieves. English 5-piece rock band from Essex. And this is their self-titled debut album. First of all, can I just say how much I bloody loved the album cover. Loved it.
That was the second Sonic sneeze.
You fucking twat.
Can't even get the pun right.
I was trying to say, what a nice bloody
Album
horsey.
cover. It's a horse. It's like foals in multiple ways, except it's bigger than a foal.
And it was probably the best album cover that we've done this week.
Well, I think we've wrapped that one up nicely. Excuse Me is the first song on the album. It sounds fantastic. It is so moody. It is so expressive.
It gets really big.
It gets huge and ballsy, verging on operatic. But I still love Diverse's.
What did that go into?
You don't question it. You just roll with it.
I thought the verses were better than the choruses on this particular track.
I thought that they reminded me of Muse.
Yes,
and
across this whole album.
Think that the arrangement was a little bit too sparse.
Sparse?
At times I can see that. At times it was. But
It felt as
really
though
broke.
it was like, okay, now we've got everything in the song. We don't need to have any variety to it. And we're just going to continue with what we've already added. But it just felt as though there could have had a lot more. And not to the point where you're overdoing it, but there could have been something interesting going on.
I don't know.
It wasn't a
I
bad
felt
song,
like
though.
some of these songs get pretty jam-packed. Like, especially in the first
Yeah, but they get
third of the
jam-packed
album.
full of stuff which isn't necessarily amazing.
Well, that's just your opinion. That's just like your opinion, man. So, no, I see what you mean. I do agree.
I really like a lot of the sound of this album in general, though.
Yeah.
There is a lot of good stuff on here where there's a lot of tracks where I'm like, this sounds good. And they have a lot of repetitive stuff, a lot of big crescendoing stuff.
I like the big crescendoing stuff.
And I like it too. I think it's really cool. They do have a lot of Matthew Bellamy-ness in there, but I think it's
Especially in
interesting.
track 2.
Especially
The
in track
vocal
2.
style in Ban All the Music was
Yeah.
very, very Matt Bellamy.
But it's interesting because it's like he does a lot of the Matt Bellamy, and there's a bit of Muse in it, but he never goes full Matt Bellamy. You know, he never does the whole screechy big. And with the music, you'd feel like that would make sense because it gets to these big crescendos. But I feel like when he does get close to it, he can't quite get there. And it's kind of interesting hearing him do a bit of Bellamy, but without the whole range.
I felt like his voice is probably the most incredible thing about the album.
It's good.
He can sing so effortlessly,
It's really good.
go way up into falsetto and back down again. And I think he sung better than Matt Bellamy. Way better.
I disagree with
Yeah.
Really?
Matt Bellamy
has an incredible
range.
voice and incredible range, and the power that he can put behind it is incredible. And I
That-
felt as
that
though
is the
this
thing.
guy has a really, really good
Yeah,
voice, but saying
really
that he's
good.
better than Matt Bellamy,
I
think
don't
is pushing
think
it.
you can get that.
I think his voice sounds a lot better than Matt Bellamy's. I think Matt Bellamy's voice just gets
Well, that's
fucking
just
irritating.
like your opinion, man.
Is it just me, or is Matt Bellamy's voice fucking irritating sometimes?
No, I love
I think it's just you.
My
because
comments
a
subscribe.
lot
His voice
of
is fucking
a
incredible,
lot of
dude.
people are Muse fans, and they would
No.
say
But
that
it's like as well. It's
they
like
would agree
really?
with that statement.
I think it's. I can understand why you like this guy's voice better. It's a lot softer. But that's one of the things I think where when he gets to the point where he's trying to do when he's doing like the highest falsettos and stuff, it's not quite with the energy that Bellamy can put into it. But it's nice.
I would also
I
like
like
to
that
say
it's
that this
Bellamy-ish, but not
this,
quite.
this album doesn't have very memorable vocal parts. They're really good vocal parts,
but not
they're
memorable.
not catchy.
It's not
They don't have great hooks. There's nothing that is like, oh, I'm gonna remember from the first listen what the vocal melody in any of these songs is, because they're not
Catchy enough?
but more specifically, I'd say that they are either simple to the point where they're boring, or too complex for your memory to kind of register.
Yeah, I'd go along with that.
Yeah.
It never hits the sweet spot.
Yeah.
How about this, the big old single, Wake Up Call?
Wake Up Call. I like Wake Up Call. I really like the bass in the intro. And it's another one of those songs that crescendos really well.
I think the lyrics in this one are just fantastic. Really well written.
I didn't like it.
Really well written. You didn't like this song? Wow. What have you got against these guys, man?
I thought it was unambitious. That is the word that I would use to describe this song. I felt as though it wasn't doing anything to push the boundary. I thought it was just they went in and they tried to write a decent alternative rock / pop rock / indie rock song, and they came out with a decent alternative rock, pop rock, indie rock song, but it wasn't anything really good. It wasn't anything that challenged me in any way.
I liked this song, but it didn't stand out to me, definitely.
It was probably
that's one of the
formulaic.
interesting things about this band is that they're kind of in a sweet spot between kind of cock rock, alternative rock, and sort of indie rock. And they're doing it really, really well. They're picking up loads and they get really successful. Like this is their debut album, and they have like sold out tours.
I think that this, as a debut album, is a decent attempt.
Yeah, it's good.
I wouldn't say that it is one of the greatest debut albums I've heard this year.
If they step up for their second album, like a lot of bands do,
yeah,
if they get some better writing in there for get some more catchy choruses and fix the parts that they're slightly weaker in and keep the parts they're good at, their second album could be awesome.
I feel as though it is the hooks that is lacking, and it's the fact that they're coming up with songs which can sound a little too samey or a little bit too formulaic, but then they've also got some really interesting songs which are like, as you said, like kind of a cock rock, but also like a little more toned down from that, so that it's not
obnoxious.
Really, obnoxious.
You see, for me, this sounds like it's meant to be very appealing. It's very accessible to a lot of people, which is, I think, why they're getting a lot of appeal. That's why they have a lot of appeal. That's why they're getting loads and loads of people pre-ordering the album and loads and loads of success from this. I think it's just because it's very appealing to a lot of people.
I think they do the cock rock thing of having the like sort of lots of repetitive guitar riffs holding up a lot of the songs, but they're not the same sound that you hear everywhere else in like every Royal Blood song and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They have like an interesting like sound on each song, which I think makes it interesting. A lot of the songs have like Drawing Pins is really funky and has that repetitive. Itch has the awesome sort of delayed guitar going on with the repetitiveness. Ban All the Music has a really sort of faster riff going on. And there's some really like nice variety within what they do, even though overall they don't do a ton of stuff.
Well,
they do
I'm
really
not so
nicely.
sure. I'd say that overall on this album there is a lot of different styles which they're going for, but they don't do any of them crazy well. They're all like a decent attempt every single time. There aren't any songs on here. Actually, there's one. I didn't like Trip Switch. I thought Trip Switch had like quite a fat and a warm kind of rock track kind of vibe to it. But the chorus was basically just a standard pop rock chorus, and then
I thought it was a decent song, but it wasn't as good as the other ones.
It just had the standard structure that we always say: verse, chorus, break, chorus, and that was it.
The one
there
I
was
couldn't get
nothing
into-
that really stood out.
The one I couldn't get into was Painkiller, as well. At the beginning of that,
exactly the same.
When I first heard the beginning of that, the guitar at the beginning, I was like, "This sounds like something." It sounds almost exactly like "Get Free" by the Vines.
Interesting.
But with nowhere near as much going on. It's
I
just
got
like the
an Arctic Monkeys
sort of
vibe
thing.
from it.
It's that sort
Like
of
a
sound,
heavier Arctic Monkeys,
But
but
I,
again,
didn't think it was
not
done well
anywhere
or
near as much
interesting,
interesting.
It's just like they've heard that and gone, oh yeah, that's a cool thing that sort of was done before, and then they did it and didn't do it well enough, and I was like...
I'd say one of the good things which I kind of rate them for is their attempts to do slower songs.
Definitely.
More acoustic, which doesn't
lot of interesting
stick
deep stuff
to
going
doesn't stick to a standard structure. Something like "Lover, Please Stay." I thought that had a decent attempt at what the album needed, and it needed something to break up what you've heard previously. It needed to just be something stripped back and bare.
Yeah.
But again, I don't think it was incredibly well done as what it could have been. But it's a debut album, and you have to kind of give them the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
Like,
I thought it was interesting after the first 3 or 4 songs, where it was like really hype, crazy, loads of shit going on, and then it just went into like these quiet. I thought the entire album was gonna sound like that, and then when it started getting into these slower paced, like was it Lover Please Stay, was just guitar, like soft electric guitar and vocals. There's no drumming, no anything else.
And then I think another guitar comes in towards the end of the track. But
Yeah.
that is it.
It has a very kind of like ballady kind of appeal to it.
Yeah.
I thought two of my favourite songs on the album were right next to each other. If I Get High and Graveyard Whistling. I don't know how you guys feel about it.
I really liked If I Get
agree
High.
with that.
That was
If I Get
constantly in
High
my top.
was probably my favourite song on this album.
Yeah.
That was the one which really tried to explore new ideas. I think they could have done a bit more, but it tried, and it was genuinely pleasing to listen to that song. It was a decent track. It had a really gentle intro with some really good vocals. I'd say the vocals on this album, as you said, are good, and I'd say that is one of the better songs where he's really showing off how well he can sing.
I think
But again,
to get his voice coming
hook.
through, I think
Is there a
they had
hook
to not so
that's
much.
memorable from that song.
Just mentioning on that, I just want to mention it's a sort of, I think, a good example of how this doesn't have enough catchy hooks or anything, in that talking about this album, I've got the song Get Free by the Vine stuck in my head. Like immediately after talking about it, and nothing else is like, I'm like, that's the one. Sort of, yeah.
What do you think of Graveyard Whistling?
I thought it was exactly the same as the previous one. Not in the same way that it's the same song, but in the sense that my comments on it would be the same.
Yeah,
Good vocals. It tries to explore new ideas, but
I think it didn't hit me as much.
it didn't hit me as much.
And I think coming after that sort of was a disservice to it, because when I got to it, I was like, I really liked I really liked that last one, and then that one was good, but it didn't hit me as much.
Again, it tried, but it didn't push anything really new for the band, and I reckon they could have done more.
I like about this band, all the songs I listened to, where for some reason I had like a negative thought about them all the way through listening to it. I kept expecting them to go really poppy and boring and ordinary, but they always did something a bit different to what I was expecting, and I was always like, oh, cool. Like, one of my favourite things about listening to new music is that I'm surprised and taken aback and go, wow, this is good, And they always seem to do that. They never went boring. They never did the easy option, They kind of always kept it interesting. So, Gareth, favourite songs on the album?
If I Get High was really close to there, but I think my favourite song is going to be Ban All the Music.
Yep.
Itch. Drawing Pins. And Tempt You was on this, wasn't it? That was
Yeah.
Deluxe.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tempt You. That I really liked as well.
Yeah, that was the
I
final
thought it
song.
was a really good ending.
Yeah, the crescendo on that song.
It just built
The
up
way
so
it
well.
progresses is just insanely good. James.
Ban All the Music.
Yep.
If I Get High.
Yeah. What?
Hostage.
Oh, interesting.
I actually enjoyed that.
Yeah. I love the bass line, that driving bass line. It's pretty sweet.
I would say those three. I wouldn't give anything incredibly radical to any of the other songs. So I'd say those three were probably the three that I would recommend to anyone else.
Kit Cambino.
If I Get High, I didn't like Ban All the Music so much. Maybe.
Is that because you don't like Muse?
No, it was too cock rocky for me, that song.
Oh, is that because you don't like Muse?
Muse has got quite cock-rocky in the recent days.
I don't listen to new music. Yeah. Ban All the Music, it was too cock rocky. Like, there's like really simplistic guitar riffs.
Yeah.
They don't do it for me. Like, it was fun when I was like learning guitar at the beginning and doing that kind of thing because it's easy, but it doesn't do it for me anymore. Yeah, probably If I Get High, Graveyard Whistling, and Lover Please Stay. Yeah. James, marks out of 10?
That is a good question.
Oh, you're damn right. But you knew it was coming.
It is a good question.
It is a good question.
I am as
gonna
unprepared
give
for
this
James.
a to solid 6.
So a 6.
Interesting.
No, because it's between a weak 6 and a 6.
Okay.
Okay, Gareth. How
Okay.
solid or soft are your stool 6?
I'm gonna give between
For
a
fuck's
solid
sake.
and a strong 6.
Okay. I'm going to give this a solid 7. Because it was great. The album was great. But you know what it lacked? It lacked that specialness. It couldn't be an 8. It could never be an 8.
I could definitely see myself with a bit more time giving this a 7.
Yeah.
If I got a bit more of a chance to listen to it.
Yeah.
I couldn't.
That's because it's not even a solid 6.
It's not even.
It's a soft to a solid 6.
It is.
What would you give it? What's the
How
stiffness
soft-
of your number?
How solid would yours be?
Yeah, let us know the
How solid is your number?
That's all we want to know. Leave a
if
comment
you-
letting us know.
If you're also annoyed that the lights keep breaking on us, leave a comment and tell us.
That'd be nice.
Yeah.
Then we can do something about it.
Rage for us in the comments.
That'd be sweet. We'd appreciate that. And if you like the video, give us a thumbs up. And if you want to see some more of our insane, crazy, versatile, groundbreaking reviews, what? Aha! I was expecting a lot
Yeah,
more.
that didn't go anywhere, did it?
Yeah, didn't do nothing.
Oh, shit.
Then subscribe. Bye, everybody. I've been Kit Campbell, your host. He's been James. You're not your host, but sitting to the right. He's been your other, not the host, sitting to the left, or other way around from your perspective. Catch you later.